Despite this offseason's talent-deficient and cash-strapped free agency period, NBA teams aren't just going to give up on trying to improve themselves. So the upside to what could be an uneventful set of signings is that trades, which are even more fun, could spike. We won't see every team swing a deal, but we've got a favorable hypothetical swap ready for all 30 teams anyway. Hello guys, welcome to today's episode. Are you a fan of the NBA? You might want to grab your earphones and stay glued to the screen, or watch your favorite get traded to another team. Before we begin, do us a solid by hitting the like and subscribe buttons, as it goes a long way in helping us serve you better. Now that the 2021 NBA trade deadline has come and gone, it will be months before we get to see another deal go down. This doesn't mean teams won't be maintaining communication, of course, and all sorts of new trade possibilities will open up when expiring contracts come off the books this offseason, and cap space suddenly opens up. The reminder of the regular season and playoffs also gives franchises some additional time to identify their needs and weaknesses, ones that have already begun to surface. Kemba Walker trade from the Oklahoma City Thunder imminent. The Thunder's decision to acquire Walker in a trade with the Boston Celtics earlier in June was made under the premise that he will be flipped for other assets. A deal to another team surrounding the former All-Star point guard is now seen to be imminent, according to New York Daily News' Kristen Winfield. It remains to be seen who might be interested in the injury-plagued and high-priced Walker after 2 questionable seasons with the Boston Celtics. With that said, he still averaged 19.3 points and 4.9 assists for Boston a season ago. The hiccup here could be Walker's combined cap hit of $73.6 million over the next 2 seasons. OKC sent Al Horford and Moses Brown, as well as a future second-round pick to Boston for Walker, and a first-round selection this year, 16th overall. Could the Thunder acquire even more assets, or will they have to sweeten the pot with picks in a Walker trade? It's something we should hear about sometime soon, though. Cleveland Cavaliers already exploring Colin Sexton trade scenarios. The number 8 overall pick of the Cavaliers back in 2018, the 22-year-old Colin Sexton would seem to be a building block for the rebuilding franchise. After all, the guard averaged 24.3 points and 4.3 assists on a sturdily 48% shooting from the field last season. Unfortunately, some internal strife between Sexton and his teammates has led to rumors that he might be moved. That's now taken on a whole new meaning. According to the report, Cleveland wants to maintain financial flexibility in order to re-sign restricted free agent Jarrett Allen. It also has the number 3 picks in the 2021 NBA draft. There's certainly a lot of question about fit with fellow former lottery pick Darius Garland in the Cavaliers' backcourt too. Lonzo Ball interested in the New York Knicks. New York is going to be among the most active NBA teams this summer, with roughly more than $55 million to spend in free agency. The surprising team was also linked to New Orleans Pelicans guard and pending restricted free agent Lonzo Ball ahead of March's trade deadline. So it stands to reason that these two will be linked to one another. According to Mark Berman of the New York Post, Ball is interested in signing with the Knicks this summer. The insider also noted that New Orleans is unlikely to match any per-annual offer that starts at $19 million. If New York values the former top 2 pick at that clip, it could very well land him to pair up with Emmanuel Quickley in the backcourt. Ball, 23, averaged 14.6 points, 4.8 rebounds, 5.7 assists, and 1.5 steals on 38% shooting from a distance in a career-best performance last season. Cleveland Cavaliers to be active and looking to trade number 3 pick. The downtrodden Cavaliers have a young core that includes Colin Sexton and Darius Garland in the backcourt, as well as the likes of Isaac Okoro and Jarrett Allen in the frontcourt. What Cleveland is missing is a true star player. That could change now that the Cavaliers have landed the number 3 picks in the 2021 NBA draft. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski notes that the Cavs are going to be aggressive in looking to deal the 3rd pick for a proven veteran as a way to expedite their rebuild. Detroit Pistons willing to listen to offers for the number 1 pick. It's pretty much a consensus that Oklahoma State guard Cade Cunningham will be the first pick in the 2021 NBA draft. Whether it's the Pistons making that selection remains to be seen. Up-and-coming general manager Troy Weaver would not rule out the possibility of moving down from 1 following the draft lottery. There's a good reason for this. A move down the board could still net the Pistons someone like stud wing Jalen Green or big man Evan Mobley, while picking up a ton of draft pick assets. There's also a question about Cunningham's fit with the Pistons after selecting fellow ball-dominant guard Killian Killian Hayes, number 7 overall in the 2020 NBA Draft. Ben Simmons' trade value for the Philadelphia 76ers. Fresh off their ugly Game 7 loss to the Atlanta Hawks in the Eastern Conference semifinals, the 76ers are going to have to change things up this summer. That will now more than likely include trading 3-time All-Star Ben Simmons, who was absolutely atrocious during the playoffs. How bad was Simmons? He attempted all 3 shots in the fourth quarter during the 7-game series loss to Atlanta. Reports now suggest that Simmons' trade value is at an all-time low level despite being the NBA Defensive Player of the Year finalist in 2021-22. Add in an inability to shoot free throws, NBA playoff worst 34% mark in 2020-21, and it's hard to imagine Philadelphia getting market value. Next move for the Boston Celtics after the Kemba Walker blockbuster. New Celtics president Brad Stevens made his first blockbuster trade in that role late last week, moving off injury-plagued point guard Kemba Walker as well as a first-round pick for Al Horford and Moses Brown. The trade will also lead to speculation that veteran big man Tristan Thompson could be traded here soon. Thompson, 30, is set to count $9.71 million against the cap in 2021-22 and doesn't really have a role in Boston after the acquisition of Horford and Brown. Perhaps he could be packaged with Marcus Smart and future picks for a starter-caliber point guard to replace Walker. Denver Nuggets are looking to extend Michael Porter Jr. Denver has a ton of offseason priorities after a disappointing exit in the Western Conference semifinals. Among them, they need to extend stud young forward Michael Porter Jr. Nuggets president Tim Connolly spoke to that recently, indicating that it's a priority. Porter, 22, averaged 19 points and 7.3 rebounds on 45% shooting from three-point range during the regular season. Any extension will likely come in at $27 million annually. It's something Denver must consider during the NBA offseason. Joel Embiid contract extension. Following a historical choke job in Game 5 of their Eastern Conference semifinal series against the Atlanta Hawks, the Philadelphia 76ers are on the brink of elimination. As the number 1 seed, losing in the second round of the NBA playoffs would be a significant failure. It could also lead to questions about how Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons will fit in Philadelphia long-term. As it relates to Embiid, he's currently playing with a torn meniscus in the knee. This could also play a role in his long-term future with the 76ers. Derek Bodner of The Athletic notes that Philadelphia could push back against signing Embiid to an extension this summer. Said deal would be valued at $190 million over 4 seasons after he earned All-NBA honors. Washington Wizards move on from Scott Brooks, adding to Bradley Beal trade rumors. It is being reported that Wizards general manager Tommy Shepard did speak with Beal before deciding to part ways with longtime head coach Scott Brooks. That's the good news for Washington. Unfortunately, Beal went to bat for Brooks many times throughout their tenure together. It's not yet known how the star 2 guard feels about the head coach's departure. What we do know is that rumors of Beal requesting a trade from the nation's capital will pick up steam this summer. It's especially true if he doesn't sign an extension and opts out of his current contract to become a free agent next offseason. Right now, Wizards fans are on pins and needles, attempting to figure out what's going to happen here. Jimmy Butler expected to sign a contract extension with the Miami Heat last season en route to earning All-NBA third-team honors. He averaged 21.5 points, 6.9 rebounds, 7.1 assists, and an NBA-high 2.1 steals per game for an otherwise underperforming Heat team. Kevin Love on the move from Cleveland Cavaliers. 5-time All-Star big man Kevin Love has been subjected to trade rumors on a near never-ending loop over the past several seasons. Now that he has 2 years and roughly $60 million remaining on his contract, a trade is more feasible than in the past. Love, 32, has played in all of 113 games since the end of the 2017-2018 season. He's now seen as an injury-plagued enigma. With that said, a healthy version of Love could very well help a contending team, giving his ability as a stretch big. Chicago Bulls star Lauri Markkanen wants to play for the Dallas Mavericks. Regardless of what happens in the NBA playoffs, the Dallas Mavericks are going to have to make some decisions. That includes whether to keep struggling big man Kristaps Porzingis or find someone else to help Luka Doncic. It appears that Chicago Bulls stretch forward and impending restricted free agent Lauri Markkanen would like to help Dallas make that decision. That would certainly be one interesting trio right there. Still only 24 years old, Markkanen is coming off a 20-21 NBA season that saw him average 13.6 points and 5.3 rebounds on 49% shooting from from the field, Dallas should have the cap space to sign him to a lucrative offer sheet, too. That's a wrap, guys. All fingers crossed as we await what will unfold in the NBA 2022 season. Kindly drop what you think in the comments section down below. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons if you've not done so. I'll see you in the next video.